Okay, guys, I don't like talking politics, but I allow myself to do it when it pertains to film, and I'm a Canadian, so I apologize to all of my American viewers who don't give a shit about Canadian politics. I understand Americans don't give a fuck about anything other than America. I'm used to it. I've been living in America for a couple of years now, and all my friends are like, "Oh, what's the capital of Canada again? Is it fucking New Brunswick or some shit?" And they're super lost. I get it. So, but you know what? Stick around, you might learn a thing or two about Canadian politics. So for those of you who don't know how Canadian media works, there is a thing called the CRT, and the CRT, I guess, is like the Canadian equivalent of the FCC. Oh my fuck, the camera's about to die. Alright, sorry about that, guys. Camera died. So yeah, there's the FCC in America, from what I understand, and there's the CRT in Canada. And the CRT in Canada, not only does it make sure content is appropriate, just like the FCC, it also makes sure that the content has a certain portion of Canadian material, so that they're not just playing American entertainment. There's laws in place so that a portion of what comes out of TV, what's played in movie theaters, stuff like that, is Canadian, which I agree with that philosophy in nature. However, I do have my issues with it. Overall, I do believe in promoting Canadian entertainment. I'm a proud Canadian, and a lot of good shit comes from Canada. And at the same time, there's an organic way to go about it, I feel. But what is at issue here is they want to pass Bill C-10. That's C-10. And what Bill C-10 does is they want to extend the control of the CRT when it comes to outlets such as YouTube, Netflix, other streaming services, Disney Plus. They want to promote Canadian entertainment on these streaming platforms. And not only does it have to be Canadian entertainment, but it has to portray good Canadian values. So values of acceptance, of diversity, of, you can see where this is going, I'm sure. But yeah, they want not only for it to be Canadian, they want it to portray Canada in a positive light. Kind of feels mildly, mildly North Korean in my opinion. I do believe in promoting Canadian entertainment. I love Canadian entertainment. One of my favorite shows of all time, if not my favorite show of all time, is Kenny vs. Spenny. I'm so proud that show is Canadian. And I try showing it to my American friends and they just don't get it, but it has such a Canadian cult following and an American cult following. It crossed the border and found its popularity in America. But not only that, there's other shows out there like Trailer Park Boys, Letterkenny, and even in film. One of my favorite films from last year was Possessor, directed by Brandon Cronenberg, which, there's good entertainment that comes from Canada. One of the most prolific filmmakers out there right now is Denis Villeneuve, who's from Quebec, which, Quebec has another set of laws that are similar to that, where they want to promote French entertainment, so not only Canadian, but Quebecois as well. The problem I have with that bill is not so much the promoting of Canadian stuff, which I do inherently disagree with. I have more of an issue when it comes to the promotion of quote-unquote Canadian values, because there are some values that when you think of Canada, you think of those values. Canada is a very patriotic country. We care a lot about the sense of community in Canada, which is shown through our healthcare system, which is shown through the stereotypes of us being nice and stuff like that. We really care about one another in Canada. It's one of the things that we pride ourselves on. However, there are some dark corners in Canada and stuff like that, and I don't know to what extent the whole Canadian values go. And it's a pretty broad term. What qualifies as a Canadian value, what doesn't qualify as a Canadian value. It's pretty broad. And that's the main issue I have with the bill. If they want to just like shove propaganda into media and be like, Canada, we love people so much in Canada, man, and they're fucking shoving it down our throat with a fucking broomstick, I don't feel like that's organic. I want artists to create whatever they feel like they are feeling. If they're feeling like their country is betraying them, that should be portrayed in Canadian media as well. What if, say, I were to do a video criticizing Canadian government? Well, who's not to say that that's anti-patriotic and doesn't qualify as a Canadian patriotic video, and then falls to the wayside because of this new bill, Bill C-10? It kind of triggers a slippery slope. I feel like if you just let Canadian entertainment do its thing, it will find its audience. I feel like Canadian government somewhat underestimates Canadian entertainment. Like I said, there's plenty of shows that cross to the other side of the border. Trailer Park Boys, huge show where I live. I live in Maine. Everyone loves that show. And I have a friend who will like pop it on Netflix. He'll be like, dude, this is so relatable to me because I grew up in a town that's so similar to the town in Trailer Park Boys. So this little show that takes place in New Brunswick, I believe, it's relatable to Americans. Like I said, Possessor was one of the best movies of last year. And I feel like you should promote Canadian entertainment by, I don't know, funds and stuff like that. But as soon as you put laws like this in place, you're kind of like creating a bit of controversy. I don't know. So I took a psychology class, and we talked about two kinds of reward. You can either give a positive reinforcement and a punitive negative reinforcement. So let's say you're trying to get a dog to do something. If you give the dog a cookie when he does the right thing, that's positive reinforcement. If you kick the dog when he does something wrong, that's negative reinforcement. I feel like laws should kind of work in the same way. We should see, how do we promote Canadian entertainment? How do we make it thrive more without it being punitive? You shouldn't be like, let's restrict this. As soon as the term restrict comes to mind, I don't like it. And I mean, there's ways around it. You can get a VPN. I have a VPN. I go on Canadian Netflix all the time. At the same time, look, Canadian entertainment can compete with American entertainment. It'll never be as big as American entertainment, obviously. Like, we don't have a Hollywood. But I feel like you just let it take place organically. As soon as you give government controls, and as soon as the government puts their fingers in the pie, it's not going to be good. And what, are we going to have fucking the government become art critics and be like, hey, this is patriotic, this is not patriotic, this is patriotic, this is not patriotic? I feel like it's a pretty subjective term, and what constitutes as patriotic to one person may not be considered patriotic to another person. It's all a matter of opinion, and I feel when it comes to art criticism, politicians, they don't really have an artistic bone in their body, let's be real. Prime Minister Harper, his band, it's pretty pasty, it's pretty Caucasian, you know? I like it. It's cute, but it's not like your Canadian entertainment, you know. Politicians, they shouldn't be in charge of doing art, dealing with art. Let that shit run free, and I'm sure Canadian entertainment can prosper in its own right. It's not going to compete with America because we're a super small country, you know. We might take up a lot of room on the map, but we're not that many people. Fuck Bill C-10 is what I'm trying to say. I want YouTube to remain the way it is. Maybe not. YouTube the way it is a bit of a cesspool. There should be some regulations in terms of YouTube, but none of them at which it comes to Canadian patriotism. I don't think that's the issue with YouTube at hand. Netflix is making some good stuff, and it is an outlet for more international filmmaking. At the end of the day, I'm gonna speak man to man with my Canadian viewers. Um, Justin Trudeau is a bit of a image kind of person, and I don't know, like, okay, all of Canada can agree that Trudeau is a bit of this caricature of, and I hate using this term, but woke culture. And if that kind of finds its way into entertainment on Netflix, like, imagine getting bombarded with these freaking shows that are like Trudeau-y and just like kind of that cringy woke. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Guys, spread the hashtag StopBillC10. Thank you.